Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves, holy smokes, that was a very quick extractor trick. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it is going to be Tito taking on Eris in a ZVZ between the top Zerg bot and an up-and-coming Zerg bot. It is interesting in the AI Arena Discord and on the website you can actually check out like what bots are top of, like what the rankings are for the individual races and that kind of thing. As that it's interesting to see just how the bots of similar races actually stack up against each other. Maybe one day I'll start putting those on stream for the fun of it. That would be a fun thing, I think, to do during mirror matches. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this game, click that like button if you haven't already. If we can get, I don't know, a like for every character in Maganatha, as it's quite a long map name, that would be great. So just give that like button a little click, a little clicky clack. And yeah, I did want to just briefly touch on the map because these two have had some good games in the past where there was a lot of running around. I can't quite recall what map it was on, but Maganatha may be a map where it's a bit more locked down. Just with like the paths, you either have to go all the way around on the left or all the way around on the right. And so it'll be interesting to see if one of the bots can try and kind of outposition the other, even though it might be a little bit more difficult on a map like this. Leave a comment, though, saying more bots if you guys want to see more of these bot matches between top Zerg bots or just top bots in general. And yeah, or you can write gibberish down there. Let me know what your opinion is on iPads. I recently bought one. Kind of a spur-of-the-moment decision. Also just thought about it a little bit. I'm like, whatever. They're reasonably cheap. I bought an iPad A16 in the store, and I'm not, like, it's nice to get a cheap iPad. It was only like $550 tax included or something, which in my opinion is cheap on iPads. I'm used to seeing them being like $1,000 or more. But I'm not impressed with its performance. I tried to get it to run the Civ mobile app, and it did not do very well. Even though I bought it to do schoolwork and then tried to do schoolwork, and I'm like, this is terrible because the keyboard hadn't arrived yet. But yeah, let me know your opinions on those. I'm thinking I will probably just stick to a laptop, and that'll most likely return it. But that tangent aside, we do have a couple of scouting lings of Eris running on in. Tito has not gone for any scouting lings, so it's almost a little vulnerable, dare I say. As, yeah, not scouting in a ZVZ like this. Of course, it has seen the second hatchery. I guess maybe it has glimpsed the drones briefly, or I guess you could even track the minerals being mined without looking at the drones. Yeah, but I'm surprised that Tito's being this greedy. Eris, on the other hand, is a little bit behind in the workers. It's trying to catch up. Both bots have got Roach Warrens on the way, Burrow on the way. Eris has got its ling speed research, whereas Tito is skipping that. Both bots are getting their second gases online. Third base is going up. I guess that's the main difference here, that Tito went for a slightly later third base and fired up some more drones. Eris, on the other hand, has produced some more lings compared to its opponent, so we'll see whether Tito can potentially defend against ling harassment. Eris is going for, yeah, small attack here. I think this is about 16, 15 lings moving out, and Tito's third base could be really vulnerable. Like, Tito only has queens to defend right now, queens and drones, although drones can be absolute warriors, so we'll see if they can defend against this. And right now, they're actually gobbling up a couple of those lings, as Eris's lings are having a tough time. More scouting lings constantly running in to keep tabs on the opponent. But yeah, Eris doesn't actually commit on in with the lings. Where did they all run off to? I guess they ran home. But that is something you have to consider. Like, drone workers can do incredibly well versus small numbers of units, whereas humans can't micro to that full potential, particularly against very quick units like Zerglings. as drones are actually pretty strong compared to individual lings. Well, not like stronger, but they do surprisingly well against them. And so Tito didn't take any damage. It's now building lots of roaches. Eris, on the other hand, has not fired up any of those roaches yet. There we go. A 4th base is going up for Eris. A 4th base is going up for Tito. I'm doing a very bad job of finishing up this intro. Have we hit the subscribe one yet? I don't know. Yeah. Consider becoming a YouTube member if you want to get the bonus video. This week it was the returned Lunax VRR taking on Argobot. So that was a fun one, and we'll definitely be casting more of them in the future. Eris's Lings are having a hard time making up their mind right now. I'm curious as to what they think they see, why they're sort of dancing back and forth. We do have creep spread going on from Eris, which is a decision in ZVZ that you have to make. I personally am in the pro spread the creep like a normal matchup camp, because I think creep is very good at occupying enemies' units. They need detection. It's like a map pack for you. I think it's totally worth it in a ZVZ. Yes, now we do have Tito just pumping out units and drones up at 26 roaches. Tito has really built a lot more roaches than its opponent. Eris's supply is a little bit more mixed with extra queens, some ravagers, some of the lings still. And yeah, it's really just a macro game. Like, not that much. In fact, Tito hasn't lost anything. Eris has just lost the scouting lings over and over again. We do now have a ling blocking the 5th base of Tito. So that's nice from Eris, and it's unable to take the 6 as that drone gets bounced off there. Looks like this base will be freed on up, so Tito could expand there. Tito is returning the favor, blocking some of Eris's potential bases. We do have lings coming on in. We see Tito just pulling the drones against them. Very, very aggressive drones trying to chase after the lings, and then I guess they decide to burrow, which is interesting. So first they want to fight the lings, and then they just burrow when I guess Tito's own unit showed up to handle the problem. So the drones kind of switch from defending themselves to letting the units, the army, take care of it, I guess, which is a smart decision. Eris does have a nice upgrade lead. Tito's got 1-1 on the way, so upgrades will eventually equalize. But for now, Eris could have a bit of a window if it attacks. It's up on supply by a significant amount. And Tito doesn't have that creep connecting its bases to actually allow it to reinforce as quickly, which could be problematic. But so far, both of these bots are being quite passive. Overseer's flying around, spotting. Yeah, and then we've got Tito getting up that 5th base. Eris is getting up its own 5th base. We'll see if either of these bots can take the gold LaughNgamez. Probably not. We should just remove them already. And yes, let's see here, as we do have Tunneling Claws on the way for Eris. A little bit later than you'd think, because it's very impactful in these bot matches. Tito does have Tunneling Claws. Look at that circle on the mini-map as the roaches back out and then decide to commit on in. Tito has produced a good number of its own lings. They're really locking down a lot of these units of Eris, while the Blue Zerg scatters its army as the attack does not succeed. Tito did a really good job pulling the trigger on that one. Kind of just demolishes Eris's army, actually. Yeah, those lings worked out phenomenally. Instead of just like, oh, never mind, we can't fight, and Eris retreating, Eris was locked in place with a good chunk of its units. A queen gets too far ahead and gets killed off, so that was a phenomenal trade for Tito. Man, oh man. Despite being down in upgrades too, I believe. Now Tito's going to try and counterattack 200 supply against 178. Can Eris win on the defense? We see the Red Zerg backing off as soon as Eris tries to push forward towards its army. Tito says, oh, I'll just retreat with these units endlessly. There we go. Now the roaches are kind of skirmishing with each other. So there is some crossover where both bots think like, okay, this is an all right time for these units to actually stand their ground and fight. Eris is burrowing its roaches, pulling them away from the fight. I like to see that. Tito's doing the same as well. Tito's roaches, I'm curious to see if they're actually willing to move towards the enemy or not, or if they're just hard programmed to back up, basically. That's something that I think is important. Yeah, it looks like they are trying to just path away from the danger. Burrowed roaches passing each other underground, which would be interesting if they could attack each other underground. I mean, technically they're in the same plane, I guess. And then we do have Tito just kind of surrounding the army of Eris, but not giving a whole engagement. Tito is transitioning into these Hydras, which can have mixed results. They add lots of damage, but they have nowhere near the survivability and the tankiness of the roaches. So jury's still out on them a little bit. I think Tito's attempting to get up a 6 base. Eris is just on 5 bases, unable to start at 6 base just yet. Tito and Eris's roaches are really keeping each other occupied. Tito's got a nice little counterattack going on, though, and this is a significant chunk of roaches. This is 12 roaches hitting Eris's base. There's no spines, no spores, nothing like that. And the bulk of Eris's army is just really being kept kind of held in place. It's slowly progressing towards Tito's base, which is good, but then Tito's units are constantly stepping forward, trying to pull the Blue Zerg's army just out of position and just keeping it constantly engaged. True guerrilla tactics, but Tito is still skirmishing with Eris's roaches, but the counterattack is getting lots of damage done as Eris just doesn't have that many units. Is there an overseer present here for Eris? It doesn't look like it, so Tito's roaches can just burrow and survive, which is definitely problematic. Looks like all of Eris's overseers are with its main army, as many of its roaches are actually forced underground, but looks like Tito may have the numbers on this side of the map too. So where's all of Eris's supply? It's got 65 roaches in all. I guess more of them are coming forward. How many of them are right here? This is almost 64, so pretty much the whole Blue Zerg army is present here, not really defending against this counterattack. Tito did kill that base. It's got Hydras, Roaches, Queens walking onto the creep of its opponent. Both bots are maxed out with a bank, both at 2/2 upgrades. Tito is trying to tech to hive. Eris, though, is starting to roll some of these red Zerg bases. It already killed one. It's looking to get another. That's the power of keeping your army grouped up. If it can actually get on the enemy base, who cares if you're actually fighting? So having some kind of overall preference to constantly be moving towards the enemy when you want to take a fight is probably the best move. Looks like Tito will lose yet another base, being knocked down to 3 with a 4th building. Eris did lose a base, so it's on 4 bases. So we could have 4 bases against 4 bases, but hold on, it might be 3 bases for Eris soon enough, as these bots are really giving each other strong blows. Eris not doing too much defending. It's got a few reinforcements trickling in, it seems, but Tito does still have some units constantly engaged with this army of Eris. How much supply is here for Eris? It's about 40 roaches worth of supply. Where's the rest of them? I guess it's just hard to get a look at where they all are. Lots are being produced, but we see Eris not defending this base right now, so it will lose the important lair. That's going to die, and the mining is really going to fall off after this. Eris doesn't have too much more harassment going on. It cleaned out these 3 bases, but after cleaning out this base, it's still very far away, and its rate of progression is not very high, as we see Tito is constantly keeping it engaged. Like, Eris is slowly moving towards Tito's bases, but Tito's being a little more quick with this army that's not being contested enough. I say enough. Just as, yeah, like Eris does have units here defending, but there's notably no overseer with them. That's a big problem, because Tito's roaches, they're just burrowing, healing up, retreating, and yeah, there is an overseer present with Tito's army. So Eris not having overseers where they need to be. There is 8 out on the map, but I'm clicking all over the place. Yeah, none are remotely where they need to be in this situation. Okay, here comes in 1, locking onto an infestor, it seems, but Eris is trying to rebuild this base. It's got this location here, but Tito's working on that. And the Blue Zerg blob, which has been able to wipe out Tito's bases, has been unable to get where it needs to go. Tito does have 3/3 upgrades on the way, which could very well be a win condition if it can get 3/3 while Eris is on 2/2. It would be hard to imagine Eris's roaches doing very well for themselves at all. Slowly, the blob of roaches for Eris is getting towards the 3rd of Tito. That's a big deal, as Eris's own natural is being pressured, but it looks like finally Eris may have spit out enough reinforcements to handle this. There still, again, is no overseer here, so I think if Eris loses this game, that will be the main reason why. Tito's harassment is just getting way more damage done than it rightfully should. These roaches are doing a great job being assigned to the attacking units of Tito, but they're just not actually cleaning it up. That being said, though, Eris was still able to make it to the natural base of Tito. Tito's afraid to engage this army. Eris has been doing a great job keeping this blob grouped up. 3/3 is getting very close for Tito. Both bots are on very similar supplies. Tito does have bases that are kind of more spread out, which could be useful if this goes all the way to a base race. There are lots of changelings being spat out all over the place. I do like to see that Eris is using that ability. But yeah, where's the army of Eris going now? Looks like it's going home, so it gutted the natural, and now it appears to actually be chasing the army of Tito, which is not great. Or where are they going? Are they going home to defend? It looks like Eris is now prioritizing defense at this stage in the game, which I don't think is great. All of a sudden, Eris's supply has really fallen off. Tito's got the 3-3. Eris is coming home with the Overseers, but roach count-wise, yeah, Tito is massively ahead. There's even the one Infester somewhere, the Hydras to add in the extra damage, and with the 3-3, I think Eris is just toast in this game. So Tito able to survive the chaos. The wrecking ball that was Eris moving across the map, just unable to match the damage that Tito got done. I mean, Eris is on 11 drones. Tito's only on 19, but again, Tito's been able to, I guess, have its units survive more effectively. Like, it's 150 dead roaches to 53. I think that tells a good chunk of the story. One defensive Overseer, and I think this game is entirely different. Would free up so many resources. By resources, I mean so many units of Eris to actually be out on the map. But man, oh man, what a great ZVZ. Kind of looking a bit like the Eris versus -0 games that we used to have. And so, yeah, it's exciting to keep track of this. Eris then respectfully GG's. And we'll definitely pay more attention to the matchup between these two bots in the future. Big thanks to everyone for tuning in. What a great game this was. If you guys thought so as well, click that like button before you head out. Comment, subscribe. I'm going to be recording quite a few videos the next few days. But as always, if you have feedback for the cast, let me know. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.